Stay with us. Welcome back. Well, let's come back to Lagos. We've gone to Abuja. Now we're back to Lagos. And for good reasons. We're around water. And there's a lot that's going on in Lagos as we celebrate the World Ocean Day. Who else is more qualified to talk about this and every other issue that has to do with the protection of the environment, especially our coastal areas? We're having here in our Lagos today the Commissioner for Waterfront in Lagos State, Mr. Kundayo Alebiosu. Thank you so much, sir, for coming on the program. And good to see you again.
Same here.
And you look sharp,
for having me.
as always.
Thank you. Thank you.
For those who are not familiar with the big grammar about, everybody knows about the ocean. Everybody, we're blessed with many bodies, including water bodies in our country. Absolutely. Especially those of us who live in Lagos. All you have to do is to drive through and you see all of this. But the world has decided to say there has to be a World Ocean Day. Sometimes we feel that these elements, they have a way to cure themselves or whatever it is as a challenge. Why do you think it's important to have a World Ocean Day, and why is it important to the Lagos State government to highlight this?
First of all, it's good to see you guys again. For the World Ocean Day to be a global event means that there's a lot to tackle globally. But what we're going to do is take that opportunity to domesticate it and look at it from the point of view of a Lagosian or a resident of Lagos. How are we treating our waters? How do we relate with our waters? This is what sustains us, and that's why the campaign is wrapped around sustaining what sustains us. The water we drink, it's said that borehole water is the purest water you can get. Where do we think it comes from? And the same lagoon that sustains us in that wise, you discover that isn't getting the proper treatment it should be getting. We just got back we're dealing with coastal erosion at the moment, a severe case of coastal erosion. We've lost several villages along our coastline, and it's important that we restore them, we bring them back. We're talking heritage, we're talking culture, we're talking tradition. These are some of the most important things, besides religion, that makes a lot of sense to us as a people, also as a state and as a nation. To feed us, we depend on our waters. To drink, we depend on our waters.
To travel.
And if you look at where we were when it comes to water travels, where we were a few years ago and where we are now, you'd see that it's completely different from what it used to be. We should look at the impact of our treatment of our waters on the economy, on the environment, and so many other things. Now, when you sit back and you look at things, there are a lot of health issues out there. People are advised to stay away from this, take more of this. Basically, our food is fast becoming our medicine. And a safe option is seafood, particularly fish. Now, with the indiscriminate dredging that's going on, we really have to sit back, think back, and wonder, why is fish so expensive? What do we think the reason is? It's not everything that's based on the dollar. It's only going up because of the dollar. It's there, it's natural, it's nature, it's a gift of nature. And when you look at places where the waters are really being looked after, you'd be amazed at the amount of fish they have available to them. These days, you pick up a piece of fish that much, a croc, and you'd be amazed how much it goes for. Why do we think? And remember, the live ones the fresh ones are even way more expensive than the frozen ones. It should be a case of just putting your hand in water and pulling them out. But it's not. People are dredging indiscriminately, illegally. They're reclaiming land illegally, and are not stopping to think about its impact on the environment. People look at it from the commercial point of view. Not at all. The actions of some people, affect some other people negatively. And that's why we're insisting that even where there's nothing bad or wrong with the reclaiming legally. I mean, around the world, it's even so celebrated in certain places. It was celebrated in France, in the UAE with the Palm Jumeirah. It's no more than reclamation works, but look at how it's being turned around, and they let you don't even realize, you don't look at it from that angle, but focus is, it's become a tourist attraction where everybody goes. It's the same here, and that's why we're tightening our nose to say no. It has to contribute to the state positively.
So, Honorable Commissioner, since we're talking about protecting the ocean,
Correct.
in celebration of the World Ocean Day, let's talk about a thorny subject, the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway.
Yes.
Mired in controversy. There is the positive part, interstate connectivity, commerce, promotion of commerce, interstate, but there's also litigation, and there's also the environmental concern, the obstruction of a natural ecosystem, aquatic life. From the point of view of a professional, what are your thoughts on that very big concern, and the potential impact on erosion and flooding, amid predictions even from authorities as well?
When it comes to matters of the coastal highway, yes, it runs in some areas past our waterfront. However, that lies with another ministry at the federal level. However, it's important to note that before such projects are embarked upon, there are certain things, requirements that you'd have to meet. Like I said, its impact on the environment, amongst a few other things. What was the intention of the coastal highway should be the first thing we would look at. Definitely, when it runs across states, one of the advantages is some of those raw materials, say for example, some of the things we have here in Lagos, by the time the coastal highway is done, it's quickly and easily delivered to the other parts of the country along that highway. There's no way you would come up with a highway and not take into consideration drainage issues of the highway from a professional point of view. And I'm aware that they put several people in place, professionals, who are making sure, who have been required to make sure that all is safe. Think about it with your eyes closed. It would be very irresponsible of any government to embark on a project that will be detrimental to the health, environmental effects, and many other things without taking those things into consideration. I'm aware that the federal government interfaced with different states at different points. And of course, the concerns in Lagos would always be different from the concerns in other parts. Yes, the highway runs through some properties, some lands. Of course, it's for reasons of overriding public interest. It will not go down well with some people. And of course, for those who would be benefiting from it, they would be more than happy. When you consider how long they said it would take with the new highway to move from Lagos to Ondo, for example, if you're cutting close to half the time spent on the road, then you discover it will be worth it by any standard.
It's great to hear the positives. Correct. In that sense for commerce, transportation, and all of that. But one major concern is that when nature fights back, it's usually brutal. Mm-hmm. And there's nobody to mediate and say, nature, take some time. It just hits most unexpectedly.
Absolutely.
And it's usually brutal, fatal, deadly. We've seen that in other climes. So I want to bring this back to one simple question. Are we treating our ocean, the lagoon, well in Lagos? Now let's narrow this down to Lagos. If you would rate us on a scale of 1 to 10.
No, we're not where we're supposed to be, and that's the purpose, the reason for the awareness.
Where are we on a scale of 1 to 10?
I would say we're currently at the moment, as a people, I'd say 3.5, when we should be way above that, when we should be way over that.
So what are those things you've highlighted, or you want to highlight that we need to do better?
Yes, you find out that anytime you embark, for example, on a reclamation project, you feel effects further down east, usually. And of course, it's expected that you would put things in place, having predicted naturally where the effect would be. You look at that. If you look at how, take for example, one of the most iconic projects, reclamation works in Lagos, if not in Nigeria at the moment, is the Eco Atlantic. Remember that Victoria Island was practically gone. We did everything possible at that time. Lagos State, they tried this, tried the next thing. And of course, eventually studies came up with what one needs to do before even knowing. You need to know what to do before you embark on doing it. At the end of the day, I mean, we still have Victoria Island. What do you think would have happened if Victoria Island had gone? Nature wouldn't have been kind enough to say, it's all right, we've done that, let's just restrict it to Victoria Island. It would have gone further. But at the moment, we were able to save that based on professionalism. Some never believed that it would stand. And as we speak, some still don't trust that nature won't fight back. But every possible professional required was brought into that project. And that's the book we tore leaf from, to say, you know what, this happened here. We should, we just came back from the Netherlands engaging with some companies there, Boskalis, Van Noord, just CDR particularly, because we're looking towards them to carry out our pre-feasibility and our feasibility studies. It's only then they know way more about that, about our waters, than I even do. So it gives me that confidence to know that professionalism at its peak is being engaged in order to avert any of those concerns that you've just mentioned.
So let's, as we begin to wind up, let's talk about the pollution. That is a big concern.
That's right.
Especially open defecation and its attendant effect. First, how bad is it?
It's pretty bad, and that's why we have concerns about. I particularly have great concerns about some of the encroachment issues we have on our waters. Of course, you just mentioned open defecation. And what will happen? Does it just break down, or will our marine life still go back and feed on that? You catch that, and that's what you're feeding off of.
Plus plastic waste as well.
Yes, and that's why when Lagos State came up with the ban on styrofoam and things like that, it wasn't because the government wanted to be wicked. I think it was the Minister of, that happens through the Minister of Environment, that we handshake. And it was a campaign towards cleaning up our waters. One of the many ways that we're looking towards in keeping our waters better than it is.
But with respect to that,
yes,
there are communities on water where open defecation is actively ongoing. Makoko, for instance. Now, communities on water are not a strange, phenomenon. They're not a phenomenon just in Nigeria. They're all over the world. What effort is the state government doing to ensure WASH, for instance, is an active project in these communities, such that the communities can be preserved because they have, professions. They're fishermen in their communities, and at the same time, those communities adhere to sanitation rules.
You see, in those climes, those things it's a part of them. It's based on how they relate with water, and based on their relationship with water. The culture of relating with water in the Netherlands, for example, is completely different from how we relate to it. It's cultural, and because it's cultural in their case, they had already taken a lot of things into consideration in planning it. In our case, it was a case of squatting, and we probably didn't react to it in time, and before we knew it, it became a huge community. Now, how easy would it be to move them from where The state already mapped out where they're meant to be moved to, but you also must take into consideration issues of human rights issues and things to make sure that we adhere strictly to all of the stipulated rules. But we have to look at how their being there affects us collectively as a people. And we know the effect of open defecation. It comes with diseases and things like that.
Ongoing conversation, we must say, Honorable Commissioner, but we have to wind down. Commissioner for Waterfront in Lagos State, Mr. Kundaya Alebiusu, thank you so much, as always, for coming through. And we'll call on you yet again when the need arises to respond to some of these concerns about the people, as well as what you're doing in Lagos State. Thank you, sir.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, we'll get to the final leg of the conversation. We'll be right back. Join us in just a moment.